I'm Marley Matlin. Welcome to Part 2 of Turner Network Television's premiere of The Sound and the Silence, the story of Alexander Graham Bell. Bell's legacy as an inventor and a teacher of the deaf is extraordinary. Like his contemporaries, who used sign language to teach the deaf, Bell used his insights with oral education to help the deaf communicate with the hearing world. In order to get a perspective on the amazing story we're about to see, let's take a brief look back at Part 1.
He's a wonderful pianist.
My name's Alec.
Alex!
Here I am, Mama! Mama, I'm here!
Alexander Bell, where are you?
I'm here, Mama. Can you hear me like this?
Can I hear you?
Can you hear me here? Here?
Try a little higher.
Here?
Yes, I can feel a vibration.
It's all yours, Alec. The world and all that's in it.
Every sound we make is a compound of various resonant tones.
What?
Resonant tones.
These children are deaf, not helpless. You don't have to pity them. Just teach them to speak.
Do you think my tongue looked too soft?
No. I have grown to love her.
She's far too young to be told of your feelings.
But
But
I will amend my life for her. I love you exactly the way you are.
You say this talking telegraph idea of yours is feasible?
It's inevitable. Mr. Watson, come here.
What?
You called me.
Congratulations, Alec. God bless you, my boy.
His invention of the telephone was the first big step in a lifetime of breakthrough inventions, many of them inspired by the people in his life. His wife, Mabel, was the greatest source of strength and encouragement, and was the love of his life until the day he died. But Bell was more than just an inventor. He wished to be known as a teacher of the deaf. In Part 2 of our film, we'll discover a little-known but fascinating side of Bell as a teacher for the extraordinary Helen Keller. When offered a chance to comment on his life of inventions and technical wonders, Bell simply offered this: "I taught the deaf to speak." Please join me now for The Sound and the Silence, the story of Alexander Graham Bell.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
this number is no longer obtainable or has changed.
555 8370 has been disconnected. Thank you for calling. Mobile
Hi, Simone.
Mr. Bell, one question,
Elijah
sir.
Gray says he invented telephone before you did. You don't have to say about that.
Company. This is true that Western Union now have more telephone exchanges than you have. How do you feel now that Edison picked up... How much longer can you hold out, Mr. Bell? It's been 5 years.
Try to remember, gentlemen, that Bell Telephone isn't on trial here. We're simply enforcing our lawful patents against any infringement. Come along, Alan. Mr. Bell! Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Orton.
Mrs. Bell?
Hello, Mr. Orton.
May I have a word with you, sir, privately? I'm a plain dealer, but I enjoy money. I have a nose for it. That's what I can smell here. The sweet scent of profit.
The cat who ate the canary. His hooligans tear down our phone lines in the middle of the night, and he's chipper as the dawn.
Oh, so far, there's no proof.
He said she had nothing to do with it. We have $40 million in capital. We have Thomas Edison, carbon diaphragm transmitter. Better than yours, I understand. And we've got Mr. Somebody. He testified that he had invented the damn thing in the first place.
Then I'm sure you have a point.
Combine equipment, combine patents. Split profits 50-50. I'll even keep Mr. Hubbard on.
Orton, you have the heart of a saint. Come along, Alec. We can't have you blinded by all this virtue.
Are you aware of the work of Professor Amos Dalby of Tufts College?
Yes, I am.
Are you aware that he believes you appropriated his ideas?
Yes.
Do you deny it?
Yes.
He contends that the concept of undulatory current was not new with you. Do you deny that as well?
No, I do not.
I'm confused, Mr. Bell. Isn't your cherished phenomenon of undulatory current at the very center of your patent?
Its application, yes. Not its existence.
But you say it's not new with you.
I've already answered that. This is absurd.
In fact, is it not true that Professor Dalby preceded you in achieving this effect? By several years, in fact.
He may have. What of it? It has nothing to do with electrical transmission.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. I have no further questions.
Well, it's 4 in the morning, Alec.
May please don't disturb me when I'm working. Thoughts are electric. They cannot be recovered. Oh, man. Forgive me. It's these idiotic trials. What?
She cheating.
He?
Well, it feels like a he. You're cranky in nature, anyway. Can you hear?
Trying to tell me something. Oh, Papa. Take me away from this awful, prickly heat. And those lawyers. Show me the sea. Give me a life in the open air.
Elsie! Elsie, come on over here. Try catching the bubble. Yes. Bring Daisy over. Come here, Daisy. See the bubble? Elsie, show Daisy. Blowing bubble. Blow the bubble. Yes.
Did they give you a Tell us, Mr. Gray, what date do you mark as the beginning of your experiments in telephony?
The winter of 1866.
Are you saying you invented the telephone in 1866?
Not precisely, sir. I did invent certain telegraphic relays and had some success with the transmission of tones, that kind of thing.
Yes, that kind of thing. And when was it that you transmitted the human voice?
I transmitted tunes in July 1874.
Tunes, but not speech?
Well, they could be heard 500 miles away.
I'm glad you can carry a tune, Mr. Gray. However, it's your lyrics we're concerned about here.
Objection.
Please make your point, Mr. Smith. Tunes, rhythm, pitch, undulatory current, 2 cans and a string are all well and good. But the patents in question, the patents Western Union has so consistently ignored, pertain to the telephone, the electrical transmission of speech over a wire. This man didn't invent it. Besides, he filed for a caveat on a patent. When he tried to make it work, he failed.
Your Honor.
Isn't that right, Mr. Gray? No further.
Your Honor, I object. This is outrageous. Your Honor?
Ladies and gentlemen, at 11:17 this morning, an attempt was made on the life of the President of the United States. General Garfield has survived the attack, but his condition is grave. These proceedings are recessed until further notice. Mr. Bell, may I see you at the bench, sir? Without counsel?
Mr. Bell, I'm John Fowler, President Garfield's personal
Mr. Thames, my assistant.
How do you do, Mr. Thames?
Where is he?
This way.
I don't know how you got wind of this, Mr. Fowler. We've been working to detect metal in earth, not bullets in a man. It hasn't been tested. It's not scientific.
The bullet's not anywhere near the entry wound. They can't find it. There's a risk of infection.
Has all the metal been removed from the room?
Everything.
Slats under the bed?
Wood.
Good. Here, take this.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. What the hell's good about it? You're the one that invented the telephone, huh?
I think you should save your strength, sir.
I got one right down in my office. I hate it. Used to take all day to get the bad news. And now I get it right away.
Connect the positive.
You think a man clever enough to invent something like that would be able to find a little bit of lead in an old soldier's gut, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir, one would think so.
Mr. Bell, I'm a religious man. I believe my fate lies in the hands of the Lord. But the good book says, Mr. Bell, that the Lord helps those who help themselves. I'm surrounded by idiots. You gotta find that goddamn thing. Please.
Let's have a target, hmm?
Yes, sir.
Close the circuit, please.
There. 3 inches to the right of the entry.
It works. We've tested it.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. We're moving him to the hospital for surgery.
You don't know where the bullet is.
Unfortunately, Mr. Bell, neither do you.
I can find it. We've done tests. We can do it.
There isn't time. The man's dying.
This is abominable. It's inhuman. You'll be butchered.
Please send us an invoice for your expenses. Good night.
I'm sorry, sir.
I don't understand.
Fowler! Fowler!
He tried. He kept fighting. But his little lungs collapsed. He couldn't breathe. He just... couldn't breathe.
May, you shouldn't be up.
No, Alec, it's you who shouldn't be up. How can you be here now, of all time?
I should have taken steps.
There's nothing you could have done. I came too early. What is that?
Vacuum jacket. It reduces the air pressure around the body, draws air into the lungs.
Alec, we can try again.
No. I nearly lost you, too. Our family is perfect the way it is.
The TNT original, The Sound and the Silence, will continue in a moment. The Sound and the Silence is brought to you by Monostat 7. For feminine yeast infections, trust the cure you know. Monostat 7.
This insert is what some women use for yeast infections.
The TNT original, The Sound and the Silence, now continues.
Want some help, Captain Keller?
No, be a good little girl, all right? Just be a good little girl. Oh, come back here. Careful, little girl. She can't hear you, boy. It's all right. I'll take care of it.
Easy, child.
Find me, Mr. Bell. Now, come on, honey. Just behave yourself, all right? There's a good girl.
Excuse me, sir. There's Captain Kelly here to see you.
Who are you?
Charles Thompson, sir. Just more or less in the area.
Do I have an appointment with this person?
Well, I would know that, sir.
Have him come back next week.
Excuse me, sir, that fella, he's got a deaf child with him.
Oh, beat about the bush, Charles. Always get to the main point straight away.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remember that, sir.
My wife read what Dickens said was a true account in his American notes. He met a young girl, Laura Bridgman. She was deaf and blind, but had been educated. We thought you could do the same for Helen.
Go on, man, go on.
Well, we found out that the doctor who had treated Laura had died. We went to Baltimore to see Dr. Chisholm. Supposed to be the best oculist in the country. He said there was nothing he could do. He's the one who told us about you. Her outbursts used to be daily. Now they're hourly. Crying. Screaming those awful sounds.
She's an intelligent child, no doubt. You see, she likes the vibrations.
But she feels such dismay. We don't know what to do.
The only thing we can do is begin her education immediately. I'll write to Dr. Anagnos today. He's director of the Perkins Institute in Boston. They have some exceptional young teachers. And I assure you, Captain Keller, I will always be her friend.
Would you read to me, Alec? Ah.
On either side the river lie long fields of barley and of rye that clothe the world and meet the sky. And through the field the road runs by to many-towered Camelot. And up and down the people go, gazing where the lilies blow, round an island there below, the island of Shalott.
I kept those papers for you, you know.
What papers?
Brantford. The barn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Nothing but the truth. I've always believed that in our family.
Mrs. Bell, I know you're not feeling too well, but I must ask you a few questions. Would that be all right?
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Bell, you recognize this paper?
My son made those notes in our barn on July 26, 1874.
We offer this as evidence to support priority of conception.
Objection. Surely Mr. Smith knows there's no legal date.
Do you think we might hear what it says before...
Just a minute. I also have this.
It might be easier, Your Honor, if I might read this aloud.
It's inadmissible, Your Honor. We've never seen this document.
I'll decide what's admissible, Mr. Guilford. Let's hear it.
A letter to Mr. Melville Bell from Alexander Graham Bell. Postmarked November the 23rd, 1874. If a permanent magnet is made to vibrate in front of the poles of an electromagnet, an induced oscillating current will be produced in the coils of the electromagnet. It continues. Please keep this paper as a record of the idea. This seems to precede by a full year the earliest credible date of conception claimed by any other rival, including Mr. Gray. No more questions. Your witness.
Mrs. Bell, I want you...
Have no doubt about it, sir. My son invented the telephone. He's the only man equipped to do such a thing. He has the finest brain in America and a bigger heart than anyone in this room. And you, sir, should be ashamed to doubt him.
Mrs. Bell, please.
I know he's hot-headed, dreamy, self-absorbed. But he is sincere, and he is unselfish. And he is the only person in the world who knows how to speak to me without sounding angry. I would always love him for that. I know. Where you go, I go.
Bell says you'd best put this on, sir.
Bah! It's only a Scotch mist. What a remarkable sound.
Oh, I can't say I care for that, sir.
Do you feel the vibrations?
Oh, yes, sir. You gonna put this on, sir?
Charles. May I ask you something of a personal nature?
Yes, sir?
What are your plans?
Plans, sir?
What do you intend to do with your life?
Best I can, sir.
If we leave Washington for good, will you come with us?
Maybe. Depends.
Good night, Charles.
Good night, sir. Surely won't live on no boat, though.
Good view from up there on top.
Who owns this land, Arthur?
Oh, the farmers mostly.
Would any of it be available for sale?
Times being what they are, I don't see anyone looking down his nose at a fair price. Douglas, stop that, son!
It should be called something in Gaelic. Ben Varshak.
Bin Mash?
No. Better. Ben Bria.
Ben Bria.
Sounds like V.
Oh, Ben Bria.
Beautiful mountain.
Oh, yes.
It's my Camelot.
The TNT original, The Sound and the Silence, will continue in a moment.
To celebrate Buick's 19...
The TNT original, The Sound and the Silence, now continues.
Huh. Here's something about you, Mr. Watson. Good God. He's an actor in London.
Let me see.
The critics haven't been kind.
Yeah, what are the critics now? It's the doing of the thing that matters, fully for him. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamed of in our philosophy. I am a graphophone. My mother was a phonograph. Let's listen to it back, huh?
Beats the hell out of that old tinfoil device of Edison's, don't you think?
Not a competition, Mr.
Charles! You're finished, sir.
There. You see? A view over the lake from every bedroom. And 2 towers. One is a library, Charles. The other is a breakfast room.